Hey guys, it's Tony with Wood Tramp Outdoors. After talking on several videos about making a rigid system for a bucket style pack, we've been inundated with requests on how to do this, what to use and all that. So that's what I'm going to do this morning. So hang tight, I'll be right back. All right, guys, so here's the deal. You know, bucket style packs have been around for centuries, and there's been all kinds of ways that people have tried to optimize them. And not that anything is worse than the other or better than the other, but what I have found the most beneficial thing to do with a bucket style pack is to make your own rigid insert to go inside them to expand them out and to protect them. Because there's two things that make your bucket style packs fail. Number one is we get overzealous and pack them too tight. You put stress on the seams, on the buckles, on the zippers, everything. So you want to back off on that. And the second thing is sharp objects. They get into the sides, especially on a sil nylon. Yet what I'm going to show you can be used on sil nylon too. But they'll go right through the sharp objects. Some of you have found that out. And those are the cheaper style packs. Now when you're talking about a wax canvas pack like this one, these are going to be a little bit more expensive. We've got some on our shelves that are above $650. Great packs. So you want to do whatever you can to preserve them. So that's what I'm going to show you here. All right. First of all, what you want to do is figure out what the bottom footprint is of your pack. Now I've measured that before I even turned the camera on this morning. I'm out in my shop here. It's a small shop. I'm by myself, so this is what it looks like here. I've already measured this out. It's about 14 1/4 by 8 1/4. This bottom footprint from seam to seam. Well, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to back that off to 8 inches wide, and then you have to also ask yourself, how deep do I want this? Well, this pack actually has a pretty deep footprint to it. And so again, you're going to go from this bottom seam, and this is kind of an ish type of thing, but it says 17. So I'm going to take it down to 16. All right, so 8 inches is going to be the width that we're going to rip down the material. And then I'll show you how to prep it, fold it, fit it into this pack. All right, so let's talk about the material. What I am using here is an 1/8 inch piece of ABS plastic that's going to be ripped down. You don't have to have a table saw. You can do it with a circular saw or a jigsaw or whatever, but it's just a little cleaner with a table saw. Get a little bit more precise. So I'm going to rip that down. And then I will show you here that we're going to need 8 inch by 32 inches. This particular sheet here is 18 inches, so I can get 2 strips out of that. And I might just work with that. So hang tight. I'm going to show you how this is done. All right, so I'm not going to care too much about whether I'm in the shot or not for this, but in the process of cutting down this ABS, I discovered, or I rediscovered, because we reviewed this pack. It's a great pack. It comes from BattleBox, made by Ruck and River, their sister company. And if you happen to be a BattleBox subscriber, and I think this was in the Pro Box, probably, you know how good this pack is. It's built tank tough. They did a great job. Now, this is just not what I would call a naked bucket pack, meaning that a naked bucket pack is just a shell. But on the inside of here, you really can't tell. I don't think. You know, maybe I can move around my workbench here, just show you. But on the inside, there is a sewn-in liner, which is kind of cool. That'll give you some protection, but not a lot. But there's pockets in here, and so because of that liner, it is smaller than 8 inches in width right here. So that was the first thing that I wanted to tell you. Now, in order for this to be able to work, you got to confirm that you got the width in here. I do. It's pretty good there. And what we're going to do is we're going to bend it probably right here. Now, across here again from seam to seam is 14 inches. So if I move 7 inches down here and bend this, then I can show you how we're going to put it together. Okay, so let me get all that going on, and we'll work from there. All right, so here's the pieces. I got a couple combination squares, tape measure, and then because this is black, I'm using I'm going to move this down this one a little bit right there. Okay, I'm using a gold marker, and as I said, we're going to go 7 inches. Just put this in here like so. That 7-inch mark, I'll just mark the other one as well. Everything is squared up. Put that at 7. Right across there. Same thing here. Boom. Oh, well, I didn't get that done. Got that one area right there. Okay. Doesn't have to be precise. We're not making a piano. All right, so now you can see that you got the 7 inches here. From here to here is 7 inches because the bag is 14 inches wide. Now we're going to move over to a flat surface with a pretty square edge. All right, so I got the heat gun ready to go. Got to get it warmed up before I move on. But before I do that, I just want to remind you here that most of the ABS that you're going to find is going to have a working side which has a surface to it, and then the factory side which is very, very smooth. I want this side to be up against the pack to be able to take whatever abuse it might be getting, right? All right, so then all you're going to do is, this is my table saw, is just line up that line right there and then start to heat it up.
It won't be instantaneous, especially if you're using an old grill like this. He doesn't know if she wants to be real hot or not. But just heat it up along that seam. You want to make sure that it is really, really malleable before you start trying to bend it. And I usually do a little bit at a time, so I'll just shut that off. Just give it a little bit of feel. Not ready yet. Move that big back and forth. And the benefits of this, as far This pack is going to last a long time. I have these in most of my bucket style packs. I'd be lying if I said all of them are, but the wax canvas ones that I take out all the time, they all have this. And some of those packs are really 10 years old and have been used and abused and packed with gear, but none of them have ripped or tears. Alright, we're going to speed this up.
Now you'll notice that this is got a soft corner. You don't want a 90 degrees, right? It's very, very soft. And that is probably about right there where you want it at. All right, you can see that there. It's got a little upward bend to it. That's going to be okay. So, yeah. You can make it 90 if you want, in regards to relation of the bottom plate and the side plate itself. Okay. All right, so you can see that they've been bent. And again, I want to emphasize, you don't want a sharp 90-degree angle right here, because it will create a cut hazard. All right. So now you do have 4 areas like this right here. Right here on the top edges, those are the factory cuts. Man, those are really sharp. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to radius it. And you can either do that with a hand sander, or you can do it with a file if you don't have any power tools. But I'm going to put mine on a, I guess a sander. I'll do it with a hand sander. Okay, so it's all been cut. I know I'm far away from here, but I gotta have room. Again, I'm by myself today. They've been cut, they've been bent, all that type of stuff. So now I've already put one section inside of here, but I would suggest that you absolutely dry fit this before we start assembling it. And I will also say that if you don't want to assemble it, you don't have to. If you have bags that are similar size, then you can take them out this way in pieces. But we're going to go ahead and stick this in here. Make sure that it's past all the things that can get in the way. All right, I'm going to feel down inside of here, and that tells me, you know, I could leave it like that if I wanted to. But listen, this is what I want to show you. Okay, right here. There it is. You know, you got yourself a solid frame on the inside of here. Now, the only thing that I would say that I would do is I am going to put a cross brace on here. Okay, what I mean by that is I will take this piece here, I will bend it to where it will fit and hold this rigidly in place to keep it from caving in on itself. But the way it is, let's see if we can get a good shot here. You see, by doing it this way, it's all the way down in the bottom of the bag, and once you get gear in there, it's not coming out. But what I like about this, without putting a front and a back on it, which I do a lot of times, is that it still gives me access to all these pockets that are in here. So I think that I'm going to call it a day here, other than attaching it together. Hang tight. So now here this guy is. Bingo, bango. That is the width of the interior of the pack. Because what I did was I took the gold marker while it was yet inside the bag and I traced it. So you can see right there. That is the actual width of this. Can you? Can you see that right there? You can. All right. So if you lay this up, that's how I traced it. That's perfect right there. Now I've got a decision to make. Do I want to make these sides rigid? First of all, I have to ask myself, why do I want them rigid? Because I really don't need them rigid, because my experience using these tells me that once I fill this bag with the insert inside the bag and I fill it with gear and I walk around and the rain gets on it and the sun hits it, that bag is going to conform to this. All right? That bag is going to own this frame. So what do I want to do here? Do I want to make it to where it can be convertible? Do I want it to make it permanent? All right, if I want to make this permanent, then what I will do is I will attach these two pieces together. I'll cut them, I will attach them together. And I can use Lexel clear caulk. That is awesome for attaching things, and use duct tape or T-Rex tape. Or do I want to make it such that it can be convertible and I can move it from bag to bag, as I said earlier? The only restriction is going to be the size. All right. Again, just to reiterate this here, tell you, where's that tape measure? Okay. Off the deck to the top is about 17.5 inches, maybe a skosh over. And then the width on this guy is 7.25. If all my other bags are that way, this will work. Now, I think that the height on this would restrict me to probably 2 or 3 different bags. So that's okay with me, though. You know, that'd be fine. If you want to make this permanent, you would have to measure from here to here. That'd be 12 inches. Then you would take your strap, this is just scrap off of this, and you would bend it to fit at the top. You don't want to do it in the bottom because you've got those pockets and zippers that are in there that you would be covering up. That's why I'm not going to put a front and a back on. I really dig this pack. It's a great pack. I'll probably end up gifting it to somebody. But you know, that's an option if you really think, oh, I got to have that so it doesn't collapse. But again, hear what I'm saying. You fill it full of gear, it's not going to collapse. But for those of you that's going to lose your mind, let me just show you what I'm talking about. Hang tight. Now, if I wanted this to be permanent, I've already prepped it, like I said, with acetone to accept whatever I put on there. But man, I don't know that I want to make this permanent, because I may want to put it in a different pack, a different bag. So right now, this is where it's at. Right here. That will fit perfectly inside that bag. How do I know? Because I put it in there and I marked it and made sure it was right. All right. The only thing that we're talking about is, do we have to have something up here? So I'm just going to kind of walk you through doing this not so permanent to where you can use it in other bags. Okay. And the way that I do that is I will put this down on the ground like this on the tabletop and just spread this out, because we're going to have to be able to put this in together, right? And it goes right on the back like that. See? Got a strap right there, and I'm going to take it down just a little bit below that, and again I'm just going to use a little bit of T-Rex tape to hold it in place. I don't care about the prettiness of it. You know, the industrial world, they call that form. You know, that's one of the questions that you ask. Is this form or function or what? You know, a lot of times they'll say both, but really, you know, they're more into function, but there are some companies like Caterpillar. I hated working with Caterpillar because of that very reason. They say they wanted function, but then they reject a project because the form wasn't what they wanted to be. All right, so now your bottom side is still floating. See that? Your top side is semi-attached. So when you put this in your bag, you're going to get those ends together like that. And you're going to start working it in here. Now, again, because of the liner that's in this bag and because of the featured pockets and zippers and all that, you know, it's going to take a little work to get this in there. I know that before I even start.
Okay, but that's what the beauty of having it split in the middle is all about. Just work your way back there. Just be patient. Don't be impatient. Let's see here. Right there, I was being impatient. And that's what happens when you're impatient. Yeah. Okay. All right. There you go, man. Don't get crazy. All right, we're going to push that down in there some more. Down in there just one side at a time, a few inches. They'll eventually get down there. Okay, don't worry about the seam not being together at this point. We'll get down. This is a deep bag. All right. So, that is it, boys and girls.
I like it. Okay. So, there this joker is. It's got the rigid sides in it, and when you start putting gear in it, it's going to push this out, and you're going to be good to go. Now, let's look at the inside here. Here's you really can't see that strap there, but for those of you that want to put the strap in, that's just how it goes. It's easy. And don't use the Lexel on. I mean, if you want to, that's up to you. If you want to put 4 sides on it, put a front and a back on it, all you do is fold over your ABS. You know, just make sure that you chamfer the edges so it doesn't cut your bag. But to me, this guy is perfect. And then if I want to transfer it to another bag that is similar in size, I can do that too. So that's it right there. Appreciate your questions. Put some comments in there. If you do something different, hey, do that. I've never seen this, you know, other people do this. I just, and I'm not a genius or anything. It's just something I thought of. So if you've done it before, have seen other people do it, put it in the comments and tell me how you would do it different. So until next time, thanks a lot. Appreciate your support and all the things you do. Till next time, you guys be safe out there. This is what it looks like folded down. I forgot to put that in the shot, you know. But there you go, man. I mean, that's solid. You want a rigid bag? There you go.